Hey everybody, just wanted to get another one out to you really quick. I wanted to touch base and give everyone information on the different levels of college baseball and what those levels can give as far as scholarships, how many scholarships they have, whether they have grants, different things like that. I know, like even through the junior college model, there's three levels of junior college. There's Division One, Division Two, and Division Three junior colleges, and they all are able to offer different things as far as scholarship money towards tuition, housing, all that kind of stuff. So I want to touch on that. I know I get long-winded. I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes between the different divisions. I know the one I know the least about and have dealt with the least is NAIA. However, I do know that they have great resources when it comes to scholarship money and giving the most off of tuition out of all the levels. But like I said, I haven't had many kids go the NAIA route. I have had some. I think it's 4 or 5. But I do know a lot of those kids get huge scholarships, so that is a huge bonus and plus of NAIA schools. As far as Division One, I was fortunate enough to play Division One. I was on a full tuition scholarship at Milwaukee, which is really nice. It's usually one of the highest ones they give. I know that they do offer ones that are a little bit higher than that, where they give tuition books and sometimes they give some extra money each semester to a player, whether that could be for like a room and board, like rent, food, things like that. So there are those types of scholarships out there. Division Ones, like I said before, I think in the previous video, they have less than 12 scholarships. It's 11.75, which I don't really understand the reasoning behind that number. And you have to understand within that 11.75 scholarships, those are usually dispersed between 20 to 25 players. Like mine, for example, my full tuition scholarship at that time was considered a full scholarship. So then after me, it was down to 10.75 scholarships between the rest of the roster. So it's a little bit confusing. I know most of them are, they offer 50% tuition or full tuition, and then there's that other tier, which doesn't happen often, but it does happen, where they give you even more than that full tuition scholarship. I do know some other schools, some bigger Division One schools have some more ways to that, because their baseball programs may be more of a revenue maker for the program. So I do know some of the bigger programs can offer a little bit more incentive through various ways. Much to much of those I don't know much about. But I do know each school has 11.75. I'm hoping here in the next few years that they up that. Baseball has become a much more popular sport in college, a higher revenue sport in college, especially through those Power Five schools where they're getting bigger attendance numbers at games and things like that. But universities are also putting more money into programs. I think last or 2 years ago there was almost 50 Division One coaches that were fired, and that's a lot. I think it was like 20% of the Division One baseball programs in the country. So with more money comes more expectations. That's why recruiting is even more highly scrutinized, and coaches are a little bit more slow to move on players because they want to make sure it's the right fit. And I know now with COVID, a lot of Division Ones are going to have higher rosters. I know some are going to have 30, 35, and there's the possibility of NCAA allowing higher roster numbers due to COVID, because a lot of kids are getting extra, excuse me, extra years of eligibility here. So a lot of this can change. Division II schools have 9 scholarships to offer throughout their rosters, and usually those, because it is 11.75 isn't a lot, and now you get down to 9. So most of the time, with my dealings with Division II, a lot of those scholarships are a lower percentage scholarship, like a 50%. I don't, very rarely, some Division IIs will give a full scholarship offer, because that it just ties up too much scholarship money between, or to one player. So they want to try to disperse those and be as creative with those offerings as they can to have as much talent across the board, and so that teams and programs can have depth, because as we know in baseball, one player doesn't make a team. You need a roster full of good players and good talent. Division III, doesn't offer scholarships. However, I know many of those have things called grants. Kids that have higher grade point averages, ACT scores, those things all come into effect. I remember I got recruited out of high school from a private Division III school, and I think the tuition was like $35,000 a year, and I remember them talking about me getting into that school for $12,000 a year. So, it was still expensive, but compared to the normal tuition, there's ways that athletic departments, get around things, and they have grants and, private money that comes in, and so that is very, very doable, and I've seen that happen with a lot of my Division III kids that I've helped through the years. The academics play a huge part of it. Even Division I had the story a couple of videos ago of a football player that went D1. He was a huge ACT guy, GPA guy. He was brought on to a Division I school for 2 years, and he knew he wasn't going to play at that school, and transferred back to a Division III school, and now is playing. But those higher grade and test scores certainly help college coaches get on a player, and that those things can help save scholarship money. So I had another kid a while back. He committed to University of Notre Dame, and he got 80% athletic money. I can't remember, it was 80 or 90% athletic money, or I'm sorry, academic, and then the rest was athletic. So it was a very small athletic scholarship that they had to use on him, but because he was like a 33 ACT, all AP courses 4.0 student, that I think that's really what enticed Notre Dame to offer him, because with his high grades, they were able to give him academic money, and then they saved athletic money so they could go out and recruit other players. So that that particular player is a right-handed pitcher from Green Bay. He saved them some scholarship money that they could give to somebody else that may not have been as strong academically. So academics play a huge part into it. So Division III, talked about NAIA, and then junior college. So even junior college, there's different levels. There's Division I, Division II, and Division III. The junior college I went to, Madison College, was Division II. Most of the the JUCOs around us are Division II. There's a lot of Division IIIs up through Minnesota, a lot of Division IIs in Minnesota. There's a number of Division Is in Iowa, notably Iowa Western. They're a really, really good junior college program that gets kids to some big time Division I schools, gets kids drafted every year. There's some other ones over there. Indian Hills is a Division I. Wabash Valley, Division I in Illinois. I think the Brewers drafted a kid out of Wabash Valley 2 Junes ago, a left-handed pitcher. I think he was throwing 98. Maybe we'll see him in Appleton here with the Timber Rattlers eventually, hopefully, once this COVID thing gets blown over. But so like I said, a lot of Division IIs, and there's differences in what they can offer you. Division I colleges, they can grant full athletic scholarships tuition, books, fees, room and board, and up to $250 in course requirements, supplies, and transportation costs. One time per academic year to and from the college by direct route. Each sport has limits on the number of scholarships that can be granted. And I know with Division I JUCOs, many of those have on-campus housing. I think that's one of the criteria that makes them a Division I junior college. Division II junior colleges don't have on-campus housing. So when I was at Madison College, we lived off-campus in apartments that were rented by the college, and we had to drive into campus. But Division IIs can grant athletic scholarships, but they're limited to tuition, books, and fees up to $250 in course required supplies. And then Division III junior colleges they're not able to offer any financial assistance or scholarships at those Division III schools. So I hope that gives people some perspective on scholarships and all the different levels. The other thing too that before I close here is the Division I, Division II, and Division III. I'd have to check. I'd have to dig a little bit deeper on the NAIA aspect of going into the pro draft, the MLB draft. If you go, for example, if you're a player that goes to a 4-year school, so let's say you go to Illinois State out of high school, and you are a high-level player and have the ability and have the skills to be drafted, you actually have to wait 3 years since your removal from high school. So it would have to be your redshirt sophomore year or after your junior year where you would be eligible to be drafted or be in an MLB draft. I believe that is the same with Division II and Division III. I know for a fact, Division I, you have to be removed from high school for at least 3 years. I believe that's the same with NCAA football. So it's a 3-year removal from high school. And then, and some of the best players, I played Division I, I played junior college. Some of the best actually the best players I remember playing against were junior college players. Junior colleges that, when we went down to Florida for our trip, we played some other junior college kids from some southern schools. A lot of those kids go to the junior college level. A lot of those kids out of high school will get drafted. And they may not get drafted as high as they would have hoped. And then they go to a junior college for 1 year so that they can improve their skills and then be eligible to be drafted right away again that next year. Whereas if they went to, let's say, University of Florida out of high school and they got drafted out of high school, they'd have to wait 3 years to be eligible to be drafted again. So a lot of those kids, those high level kids out of high school, especially through those big states, Florida, Texas, California, Georgia, those higher level, baseball states with, seemingly really high talent or MLB potential talent. A lot of those kids go to junior college so they can be eligible to be drafted any year. So if you go to a junior college, you can get drafted your freshman year there, your sophomore year there. Then once you go to your 4-year school after your 3rd year, then you would be eligible to be drafted any year. So that's another nice perk about junior college. I loved my junior college experience. If I would have went to Milwaukee right away out of high school, I wouldn't have pitched as many innings. You got to think if you're go to a 4-year school right out of high school, you're going to be 18 years old, and oftentimes you're going to be playing against 22 and 23-year-olds. A lot of those kids at the 4-year schools, they redshirt their first year, and they're 23, and you're 18 coming in, competing against 22, 23-year-olds, and there's a big difference between an 18-year-old kid and a 22, 23-year-old man that's been through a college Division I weight training program for 3, 4, 5 years versus an 18-year-old kid that is coming just out of high school. So junior college, I went to Madison. I threw almost 400 innings in my college career. And I was the top pitcher. Basically 3 out of the 4 years, or 3.5 out of the 4 years of my college career. I pitched against all the best teams on our schedule. I call it, I was a bigger fish in a smaller pond, going to the junior college versus the 4-year school right out of high school. The junior college, I was facing guys my same age or 1 year older than me. So it was, 18, 19, or 20-year-olds. Some of those guys had redshirted, some because they were injured or hurt at the junior college level. But it gives you some more time as well if you want to get to a higher level than what you could have out of high school. I had one Division I school out of high school contact me, and that was Southern Illinois University a long time ago now. And out of the junior college, I had a half a dozen or more Division I schools recruit me and offer me scholarships. So junior college for me definitely was the right route. I know for a lot of players, a lot of my players, it's been the right route for them too. Yeah, but for some it's not. Some it's more academic based first. Mine was more baseball first, academics second, and then as I got through my career and I realized I wasn't going to be, an MLB draft guy and make it through the minor leagues and have a chance to make it to the big leagues, and I kind of focused, my efforts more in my schooling and got my degree. So I hope that helps lay out some things, as far as scholarships between all the levels and what all the different levels can do for you and what they can give. And, if any more questions from that pop up, feel free to, send me a text or an email, and I can go in depth further on those things, or if there's any other topics that you'd like me to discuss to help clarify for you, I will. In the meantime, hopefully you guys are all doing well, and I look forward to seeing you here in the next couple weeks. Go CVT.